Good magical morning, sweethearts. How y'all doing? You feeling the magic? Are you feeling the peace and the calm that is bathing humanity through many shifts are coming through for many of us. And the bliss and the magic and the peace continues to just grace us in every moment as we allow ourselves to flow like the water we are. And tomorrow will be a little bit of an intense day, but more and more as we go along this journey, you're slowly observing the morphing, if you will, of the outside world. It's good morning, Darlene. Good morning, Helena. It's becoming more peaceful, more graceful, more gentle, and you're finding more and more of the outside world and its chaos and stuff. Even though you observe it, it's not taking forefront, if you will, in your present reality, if you will. Good morning, Tobias. Big hugs and blessings to you too, sweethearts. And so, as these energies continue to bathe and we come up on more portals and more gateways and more vortexes that we're going through as the bifurcation of these timelines continue, we're really starting to see the physical reality individually and uniquely, but also collectively change. And that's a good thing. That's a beautiful, magical thing. Because, the Creator sees no evil, hears no evil, speaks no evil. And I'm in Texas, honey. I'm in Central Texas in the United States. And as these energies continue to be integrated that are coming into the planet, it is literally, if you will, physically morphing to that peace, to that grace, to that gentleness. And in our mannerisms on the human aspect, if you observe, they are, even if people erupt or this or that, they are becoming more gentle. And as these timelines continue to separate and collapse and merge and all of it is one, and you step more into your knowing and allow what you want in your reality, you allow that grace and gentleness to flow through you even more easily. Victor says, good morning, Linda. Notice how clear and sharp the world looks. Some see it and some don't. That's okay. It's so vivid. Or perhaps it's my eyesight being enhanced. Laugh out loud. Well, it's a little of both, Victor. It is. The higher in frequency you evolve to, the more condensed light in your heart, the more inner work you do, the more you anchor in the light, if you will, the more vivid the colors will become, the more easily you are to see all of the timelines and all of the dimensions, if you will, and the timelines in the dimensions. And not only does it become more enhanced, it becomes more vibrant, but it does become more graceful, more gentle, and more peaceful. And with that comes a whole lot of new opportunity of creativity, a whole new opportunity of gifts that have been activated within you. Say before you've never been able to draw or paint or sing, and or say you're somewhere and someone says, hey, come sing with us. Oh, no, I can't sing. Well, maybe 5 years ago, 10 years, 20 years ago, you might not have been able to sing. But, the higher in frequency you allow yourselves to evolve to, sweethearts, you come to find that those gifts are activated once again. So what you could not do 5, 10, 15 years ago, even a week ago, you're finding that you can do now. And our natural state of being is able to draw, paint, sing, dance, be creative in every way, in every aspect. And, you know, there's many out there that can say, well, we don't have all gifts, but some of us have certain gifts and others have certain gifts. Well, again, you know, there's that contrast that's true and untrue, because we are all things. And in any given moment, you can ask yourself, okay, this is what I want to experience. I want to experience creating music. I want to experience being a singer. I want to experience, you know, being an artist that can draw exceptional paintings with pencil or in pen or with paints. Or hello, Marlon, Tammy, Adela, Vera. Did I say that right? Monica. Big hugs and blessings. Good morning, sweethearts. And so these are the things that are really the higher in frequency, and the more light you are anchoring in. These are some of the things. Enhanced visions, you know. You can ask yourself now, you know, activate bilocation, activate telekinesis, activate my night vision, activate, you know. You can, and it's helpful to, when you ask, know that you shall receive. Now, whether you see that you should receive it in that moment, or maybe it takes you 5 minutes, maybe it takes you 5 months, maybe it takes you 5 years. You know, you have to match that frequency of which you ask for. And once it's activated, if you don't use it, it will become deactivated. So, you know, really observe what you're asking for, and don't overload yourself with asking for 10 things to be activated, because, you know, you're asking for something to be activated that you cannot invest the time in 10 different gifts to really master that. And so, you know, really observe what is being activated, what is subtly being shown to you through these little gifts. Oh, thank you, Adela. Big hugs and blessings. Good morning, Rachel. Good morning, Lauren. Big hugs and blessings, sweethearts. And so, really allow yourselves to, like Victor says, you know, it seems like things are becoming more vivid. If you observe, you're going to notice that the 7 colors of the rainbow, if you will, aren't just 7 colors anymore. And the higher in frequency, again, that you allow yourself to evolve to, more colors come out. More colors make themselves be seen. And just like, you know, you can see the fairies, you can see the unicorns, you can see all that they say is not real, but we know that it is very truly real. It is all just a frequency. And so you're really going to find, as the continuation of these worlds separate, the bifurcation of timelines, you're really going to find that what you perceived, if you will, in dreamtime meditation, this or that, these mean little green men or the gray men or this or that, really mean dragons or something like that, where they used to come to you and be mean, if you will, you're going to find that, oh, look at a red cardinal. You're going to find that now you're going to start interacting with the true nature, and that those were just fears that were presenting them to seem mean, the dragons and this and that. You're going to find that you're going to interact with them in a more, you know, in your meditations, in your dream times, in your experiences. You're going to find that they're not in the clouds. You see a dragon, it's not going to look so mean or vicious, if you will. Your perceptions are changing. Your lenses are upgrading. Your eyesight is enhancing. And so, again, everything, you know, the truth of everything is inverted. It's a polarity. And so as you evolve in frequency, a lot of those unconscious fears go away. And so now they're presenting themselves as friendly little dragons and friendly little this. And, you know, your experiences in all aspects are becoming more graceful, more gentle, more magical, and more miraculous, if you will. Somebody said something. Rachel, fairies and unicorns, of course, they're real. You can sit outside, and there's many who have captured fairies And Miguel Cartagena, I think it was last year, he was out in his little flower garden, and he posted a picture of I want to say 2 fairies, maybe it was just one, but he had caught it on his camera. You know, you're coming to a space, sweethearts, where literally all the borders and all the boxes and all the walls and everything are going away, all the limits. You're allowing yourself to flow and surrender more and more each moment to the Creator. And the more you do that, the more you evolve, and the more you surrender the humanness, and anchor in the light body, the more you're finding that the magic in everything. And many of you can resonate when I say this. You're really becoming into a space, if you will, of you're in the world, but you're not of the world. And you can still be loving and compassion and kind and empathy, but what other people are doing really just don't bother you. You're coming into that space of where you're allowing unconditional love to really bathe you and be integrated in you, and you're coming into spaces of gentleness and gracefulness and mercy where truly no opinion matters, not even your own. And you're being able to spot where you still judge even the minutest of details, the minutest of things. Good morning, Kimmy, Vanessa, Terry, Mary. Big hugs and blessings, sweethearts. And so, good morning, Suzanne. Big hugs and blessings, beautiful. And so, I'm going to show you something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Look at those 11 vultures are back. Can you see them? I don't know if you can see them. But the 11 vultures, which is rebirth and resurrection. There's Christ's emblem. Everything in every being that crosses your path, sweethearts, have a message. Hold a message. If you allow yourself to see beyond and hear beyond the physical, if you allow yourself to see through it, around it, above it, below it, around it, there's a message. And there's symbolism in everything. Because your original blueprint is symbols, colors, codes, numbers, letters, And, oh, look at how close they are now. Look at that one. Wow, look at how close they are. See, that is just magical. That is just truly, truly magical. And, when you can really see the symbolism in it, you can not only do that everything carries a message for you, but collectively you can observe through it too. You have more than one lens of perception. And when you can really step outside of your lens and really see through the lens of others. I'll give you an example. I had a friend over here the other day, and one of the things in the feminine aspect especially that is triggered and being triggered is that feeling of being ignored. It's always been a big thing for the feminine, that they feel like the masculine ignores them or don't pay them enough attention, yada, yada, yada. And that's a big thing that's coming up right now to be released. And so I was talking with this gal, and I said, let's go a little deeper into the coined phrase that all is a reflection. Let's go a little bit deeper. That energy out is energy back. So you're being triggered that you feel ignored right now. I said, but now let's look when you decided to take your trip, how you shut your family out and stuff because they were in a fearful frame of mind. And so you ignored them, and you shut their phone off, and you deleted it, blocked a couple on social media, yada yada yada, because you didn't feel like you had to explain yourself. And yes, again, there's a polarity, a contrast on all that has to be. And so I looked at her and I said, and you're absolutely correct on all accounts. I said, but now let's look at it through a different set of lens, if you will. You know you're fine. You know everything is perfect. But to your children that are in a different frequency, regardless of the fact that they're adults, to your family, to your sister, your brothers, whatever, I said to them, they're in a different frequency. They're in a space of fear. They are in a space because they don't know if something happened to you or not. And I said, now let's take a little deeper. I said, so now they're in a place of fear. I said, now you think back to all of these TV shows and all of these mystery shows and books and everything else. I said, what is the one thing that they do if they think somebody's been hurt or kidnapped or this or that? They automatically look at what they've been programmed. Well, I sent them a message and told them I was okay. I said, what do every single one of these TV shows that if somebody really was kidnapped or hurt or this or that, what do? The kidnapper either texts a message or they have you text a message. And that's the frame of mind that your family's in right now, even though you've told them otherwise. But that's their frame of mind. So let's look through their perception and let's tie it into the underlying energy of what it's presenting, that which is being ignored, feeling ignored. Do you see how that ties in, sweet ones? Because energy out is energy back, however it presents itself when it comes back. And so when you choose to ignore or choose to walk away and you have not zero-pointed the situation, because she didn't want to deal with answering the questions of her family, if you will, because they questioned her decision. She put out the energy of being ignored. And so then it presented itself back to her from her masculine aspect. She felt ignored by him. It's like, do you see how the underlying why it is never anything what the physical presents? There's always a hidden message. There's always a hidden energy. And when you can see through a different lens of perception, if you will, then you are able to extend compassion, extend kindness, because you're allowing yourself to see above, beyond, around, and through it, rather than just through your lens of perception. And when you can understand that all is interconnected, and the reason she was feeling ignored by her masculine counterpart was really because she put the energy of being ignored out first. She put it out by ignoring instead of dealing with, if you will, head on, stepping into that fear that was being projected at her through her family. And once she was able to see through their lens of perception, if you will, she was able to handle it rather than reacting from being angry or you don't have the right to tell me what to do, yada, yada, yada. She was able to call them and say, look, I am okay. Hearing my voice is reassuring to you. I'm extending that, however she presented it, I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. But you're able to handle it in a much more graceful and gentle way. And then you neutralize it. And then at that point, if you choose to still, that's when you're standing in the middle ground. That is when your wisdom is most prevalent, is through your heart, when you think with your heart rather than your emotions. And so when you can see what's being presented right now, that it is not the physical, it is the energy behind it. It is much more graceful and gentle, and many of you are finding that taking place unconsciously. For those that are higher awakened, they are consciously aware, of where to place their focus, their energy, their intentions, and whatnot. And so that's the space you're really finding yourself in as far as how you're able to see through different perceptions now. And that's really magical, because coming into that space, we're allowing everybody to be who they are, that free will choice. No longer are many of you finding yourself in a space where you don't even have to react or comment on a post anymore, that your opinion really truly does not matter. If anything matters to you, it doesn't matter. If it matters, there is an emotional attachment of conditional love that needs to be let go. And that's the beauty of the energies that are bathing us right now. It is really morphing us physically into a more graceful energy. The hearts are being cracked open even more and more and more, and it's a beautiful thing. It truly, truly is. Okay, let me see what I missed here. Amy, tuned in at 11 minutes, 11 seconds into your video. Many vultures around me too. I love you, thank you. I love you guys too. I can't not take picture of me, share light, take motion picture. That's all right, Alice. We see your light, beautiful. We see you. I talk with my sis on mobile talking camera so can see me because all light. That's beautiful. Prayers and blessings to you too, Terry. To all of you. Vero, I feel we're going through a low energy and many are experiencing that low. You guys should know. You know, with every low energy, there is a high energy. With every high energy, there is a low energy. And that's why it is important to allow yourselves to ground into just flow. And when you can flow and you can let go of low and high, good and bad, yada yada. You know, Earth is a planet of contrast, sweet ones, and polarity. What it does not have to be a planet of, and what you are ascending out of, is duality. Now, how can contrast, polarity, and duality be the same thing but not be the same thing? Well, duality, liken it like this. Duality is what you choose to participate in consciously or unconsciously, knowingly or unknowingly. Contrast and polarity is when you have mastered that duality and you no longer have that judgment, you no longer have that opinion, you no longer have that reaction to anything, any circumstances, any experience, or any being outside of you. And it's not that, you know, I sit there and I say, if it matters, it don't matter. I sit there and say, I don't care. Many of you have chastised me for using those words. I don't care. I don't care about the opinions of others. I don't care. And yes, I thank you for that. I love you guys. And so, yes, those are words that I need to, because you should never start or begin a sentence with a contrast, with a contraction, I mean. Like, I can't, I don't, I won't, da-da-da-da-da. And, you know, you come to a space where you don't care, but you care even deeper. And that is the contrast we're going into. We will never leave that as long as we're in form on this planet Earth. Earth is a planet of all. And all is accepted, good, bad, or indifferent. That's why heaven and hell is not a place, it's a frequency. And you're coming into a space where the darkness is not going to go away. That is a misconception and a mistruth that has been put out there. Earth will always be a planet of contrast and a planet of polarity. How you dance in it is what's changing. And it's not that the dark is going to go away, it's that you're learning how to dance with the dark and accept it for what it is. Because as long as you're in form, there will be a contrast. Now, what is being released is the lower frequencies of that contrast and polarity. And you're entering into a space where contrast and polarity is becoming beautiful and acceptable and allowed and given the grace, if you will, that everything else is. And without it, what would life be like? Without contrast, you would not have free will. And there is much beauty. Again, all dark is light condensed. And when you can look at light and dark as contrast rather than light and dark, you can find the glory and the beauty and the magic in the contrast versus it being dark and light. And when you can see it as formless in form, making love to each other and dancing, you can hear the music, the harmonic symphony of love versus the clash and the bang of the ego. And when you can allow the definitions and the labels to go, and that's where we're heading into, because contrast in and of itself doesn't need labels but contrast. It's only the human aspect of us that has to give it definition.